I want to earn all of my friends' platinum trophies, and I'm going to start my journey out with Borderlands on the PlayStation 3. I originally played Borderlands on my Xbox 360 back when it released in October of 2009, where I completed 100% of the main game achievements and played through 2 of the game's 4 DLCs, The Secret Armory of General Knox and Zombie Island of Dr Ned. But now it's time for me to go out looting and shooting once again. Since my friend Jake platted Borderlands on the PS3, that is also where I'll be completing the game. The base game has 51 trophies, which includes 41 bronze, 7 silver, 2 gold, and the platinum trophy. To make this a little spicier, I am also going to be completing the game's 4 DLCs, which adds another 30 trophies into the mix, which consists of 18 bronze, 10 silver, 2 gold, and the worst trophies this game has to offer. Right now I am only worrying about the main game trophies, and out of those, there are only a handful of trophies that are giving me some worry before I start the game. There are 7 multiplayer trophies, which is worrisome as this is a 14-year-old game that I'm playing on a console that is 2 generations past its prime. Here's to hoping the servers are still up, or I can utilize some local co-op to get the bulk of those. One of the multiplayer trophies, United We Stand, is for beating one of 4 bosses in a co-op game, which is missable, so I'll need to make sure I do that on my first playthrough, or else I'll have to get that during my second playthrough, which would not be ideal. There is one other missable trophy called Fully Loaded, and for that I will have to find 10 Claptraps in various parts of the world that need repair. The reason this is missable is because once you repair the Claptrap, they will give you an item that increases your backpack's inventory capacity, and it's possible to sell this item instead of using them, but if I make sure to use it right away, I don't believe I'll have any issue with this one. I'll also have to complete almost every mission in the game for a couple trophies, so no stone will be left unturned during this first playthrough as I plan to get as much out of the way the first time around as possible. It's time to start a new game and select my character. Each of the 4 selectable characters has a trophy related to them, so even though I'm going with Roland the Soldier for my playthrough, I will have to start a new game with the other 3 and get some kills with their action skill to pick up their trophies, but I'm going to worry about that later. Once I get off the bus to Firestone,
get off my bus.
I am greeted by Claptrap, who's Borderlands' very talkative little robot buddy who gives me a little tutorial about shooting, opening doors and chests,
Please open the box,
turning in and accepting new missions, and eventually introducing me to Dr. Zed, a totally reputable doctor who I'm sure has no outstanding customer complaints based on his performance as a medical professional. Zed asked me to kill some skags near the gate of Firestone to prove to him I can handle myself in a fight, and while I do this I pop my first trophy of the game. My brother is an Italian plumber, by jumping on a skag's head plumber style until it died. I also fixed up a med vendor and purchased a shield, completing the mission Fixer Upper, which means I completed 5 missions in the arid Badlands for the Paid in Firestone trophy. Dr. Zed sends me over to meet TK, who lives outside of town, for more information on where the bandit Nine Toes is hiding out. I complete a couple missions for TK, and as I buy one of the few guns I actually purchased during my time playing Borderlands, I leveled up to level 5 for the Ding Newbie trophy. I entered Skag Gully on the map where Nine Toes' hideout is located for the aptly named Discover Skag Gully trophy. I quickly dispatched of Nine Toes and his 2 pet skags, a tough early boss named Bonehead and a skag named Scar, and returned to TK where I reached level 10 while turning in the mission TK's Life and Limb, which earned me the Ding Novice trophy. While I was on my way out to put old Scar down, I also ended up killing 5 Rack in 10 seconds for the Rootinest Tootinest Shootinest trophy. I picked up the ability to 3D print cars from Scooter, a kindly mechanic fellow who I talked to over the radio that I will meet in person later on once I arrive in New Haven. With some new wheels, I promptly ran over 25 enemies, exploding them into a spray of blood and guts for the Get a Little Blood on the Tires trophy. While doing some early missions, I picked up a solid number of miscellaneous trophies in the game by just switching out weapons as new ones became available, using those until I found a better one, so on and so forth. While I was just exploring around the arid Badlands, I obtained Pyro for killing 25 enemies with incendiary weapons, the 1.21 gigawatts trophy for killing 25 enemies with shock weapons, and the Master Exploder trophy for killing 25 enemies with explosive weapons. I did not acquire the Face Melter trophy for killing 25 enemies with corrosive weapons for a couple more hours, but it's another weapon-related trophy I did pick up through naturally playing the game. I spent a little time over at Raid Zabin's Circle of Death Arena, where during my first round I used Roland's action skill, which is a turret, and killed 15 enemies with that and popped the Down in Front trophy. Hunting down 2 excessively big skags named Mo and Marley, I earned the 12 Days of Pandora trophy, which I guess is a Christmas-themed trophy based around murdering people in 12 different ways. For this one I had gotten 1 kill with a grenade, 2 with corrosive damage, 3 with incendiary damage, 4 static damage kills, 5 explosive, 6 with critical hits, 7 melee kills, 8 kills with a sniper rifle, 9 SMG, 10 shotgun, 11 pistol, and finally 12 kills with a combat rifle. Sounds like a lot, but really this trophy popped within 4 hours of me starting the game. I was trying so many different weapons out early on that this one came very easily. It was about now in the game where I was tasked with killing the first major boss and getting the first Iridian artifact so that we can complete the main mission of Borderlands, which is to access the fabled vault that can only be opened every 200 years. Guided by a mysterious lady, hologram, or vision, or hallucination called the Guardian Angel, the Vault Hunter is directed to various less than upstanding citizens of Pandora who have Iridian artifacts in their possession. With all the artifacts collected, I will be able to form the key to the vault and gain access to its treasures. So now with the most basic plot summary, it's time for me to find the first holder of a piece of the vault key, Sledge, who is held up at the Headstone Mines. But first we need the key, which is located over in Sledge's safe house. Once I found Sledge's safe house, I was welcomed by a trophy for doing just that. And I also sold some extra guns, which gave me the Fence trophy for selling 50 guns to a shop. I'll need to keep selling everything that I don't need to shop since there is a trophy for earning $1 million, which is honestly a joke as I ended up having maxed out money for most of my time playing this game. Within Sledge's safe house, I also repaired my first Claptrap and expanded my inventory slots by 3. It took me 2 tries to kill the Roid Rage Psycho to obtain the key to access the Headstone Mines, but I'm at least now on my way to collecting my first vault key piece. But before I venture over to the mines, I stopped back at Firestone and turned in a couple missions. The reward for completing the mission, The Legend of Moe and Marley, those 2 big skags I mentioned earlier, awarded me my first elemental artifact. These can be equipped to Roland's gun turret to add some elemental damage, and doing so earned me the You Call This Archaeology trophy. I decided to tackle a missable trophy called United We Stand by defeating Sledge in a co-op game, so when I started playing, I grabbed a second controller and booted up the game in split screen mode using my friend Jimmy's old profile on my PS3. Can you say booted up in relation to turning on a console? I feel like the term booted up should only be used when referring to starting your family's PC back in 1996 when you're trying to play Command & Conquer Red Alert with one of your friends after school. But I'm sticking to my gun, so I booted up this game session split screen and proceeded into the Headstone Mines with 2 hands, 2 controllers, 1 split screen, and an unwavering belief that this is how this trophy was intended to be earned. But before I could even enact my genius plan for obtaining the missable multiplayer trophy, I earned the trophy Discovered Headstone Mine for entering the area. Shortly thereafter, I revived my second controller's character for the Group LF Healer trophy. I slowly made my way through the mines, bringing Jimmy's long-forgotten profile, now turned soulless multiplayer character Husk farther in as I cleared out the areas ahead. Once I reached Sledge, I left Jimmy behind and tackled the boss solo, which worked out in my favor as Sledge killed me 3 times during this fight. But since the second player was sitting outside the boss room and couldn't get killed by the enemies, this meant that every time I was killed and respawned, Sledge and his minions didn't regain their health, so I could just chip away at the boss until he was dead, and their Iridian artifact was mine. I received the Wanted Sledge trophy for beating him, and also landed the only missable multiplayer trophy of the game, United We Stand, since I beat Sledge in co-op, technically. I went back to Firestone and turned in the mission Sledge Battle for the Badlands and received my first class mod, which gives my character bonuses to various stats and guns, but also rewarded me with the There Are Some Who Call Me Tim trophy, which is for equipping a class mod to your character. I didn't actually even equip it, the game did it for me automatically, giving me the trophy for just turning in the mission and collecting the reward. Dr. Zed informs me that I can now reach New Haven, but I want to clean up the remaining missions here in the arid Badlands before moving on. You apparently get experience for the weirdest things in this game, as I reached level 20 when I opened a chest and earned the Ding Expert trophy. I finished the last couple missions in the arid Badlands, 21 story and 23 side, with a total of 44 completed in the first area of the game, which earned me the Made in Firestone trophy. Normally it would be now time to head to the next large area, the Dull Headlands, but earlier I had found the arena in the arid Badlands, so I decided it was time for a couple more multiplayer trophies. Time to break out Husk Jimmy again for an arena match. I quickly defeated my lifeless co-op companion in the arena for the Can't We Get Beyond Thunderdome trophy. And then outside the arena also started a duel where I received the Duelicious trophy for winning a duel against another player. and the Duelinator trophy for winning the duel without taking damage. Now time for me to head over to the Dull Headlands, which is the big open area in between New Haven and the arid Badlands. There's a racetrack here that I needed to race around in 31 seconds to get the Speedy McSpeederson trophy. This is pretty easy as it only took me 2 attempts before that one popped. I also started working on the second to last multiplayer trophy I had left, which is completing 15 missions in co-op. Luckily, since my only friend currently is a second controller and a long unused profile on my PS3, I found that I didn't need to do the entire mission in co-op. I only needed to have a multiplayer session going when I turned in the missions. So I soloed a handful of missions from this area, and then right before I turned them in, I brought back controller 2 so I could inch closer to 15 co-op missions completed. I finished in the Dull Headlands by helping Scooter fix up the fast travel system and took down the Mel Gibson wannabe Mad Mel to gain access to the new hub city New Haven and the last big area of the game, Rust Commons. I did some missions for the townspeople of New Haven, including the administrator, Helena Pierce, who informed me to seek out a lady named Patricia Tanis as she is also looking for the vault keys and may have some valuable information. I reached level 10 weapon proficiency with combat rifles, which popped the Weapon Aficionado trophy. Completed 5 missions in this new area, which earned me the Paid New Haven trophy. As well as I turned in the 15th mission while in co-op, finishing up the There's No I in Team trophy for completing 15 missions in co-op. I will also need to complete all 44 side and 15 story missions in the Rust Commons for another trophy, but that won't be obtained until the end of the game. There were only 2 Claptraps that are repaired in the arid Badlands, which also meant this new area contained the bulk of the broken robots to find. The side missions for fixing up the Claptraps also count towards the trophy for completing all the missions in the area, so I wasn't too worried about finishing this missable trophy on this playthrough. And at this point I already had repaired 3 more Claptraps, getting me halfway to the fully loaded trophy. Tanis sent me over to the scrapyard where I got the Discovered Scrapyard trophy, and met Crazy Earl, who tasked me with heading over to Crom's Canyon to kill Crom himself so I can retrieve another piece of the vault key. On my way over there, I stopped and made Andy Samberg proud by getting my sea legs and getting the You're on a Boat trophy. And then of course, upon entering Crom's Canyon, I got the shrewdly named Discovered Crom's Canyon trophy for doing just that. At this point, it's time to admit that I'm a big old dummy and I somehow forgot to hit record, so I missed out on the gameplay of me killing Crom for the second vault key piece and the wanted Crom trophy. I also popped the Pandora Dog Millionaire trophy for earning $1 million while not recording. With Crom dead, I headed over to destroy a giant bug named Slither that the bandits of the Rust Commons are now worshipping. After I destroyed the figurehead of this backwoods religion, I earned the ding hardcore trophy for getting to level 30. I met up with Patricia Tanis and gave her the second piece of the vault key, since her interest in the vault may be even greater than mine at this point. She states that she is noticing some Iridian artifact activity over in the Trash Coast and that I should check it out. But first I got to get through the checkpoint guarded by a gnarly looking Claptrap and a man named Tyler Cobb.
It's another stinking flesh bag.
All I have to do is help Tyler violently remove his brother Janus so that he can reclaim the town his brother controls. Easy enough for me, since at this point I have probably amassed a kill count in the thousands. I removed Janus from power, informed Taylor's right-hand man Eric Franks back in New Haven that the job is done, and he rewards me with an ambush. Since no good deed goes unpunished, I promptly return back to Janustown and send Taylor to hell to visit his brother. Once all that family nonsense is complete, I head over to the Trash Coast where I get another trophy for reaching a new area, Discovered Trash Coast. I am visited by my hologram friend Guardian Angel, and she warns me about the great challenge I will face in this area. So I killed the Rakai, which is probably the easiest boss thus far in the game, earning me the trophy Destroyed the Hive, and collecting the third piece of the vault key from a rak nest nearby. I only have one more piece of the vault key left to collect, but before that happened I wanted to finish up the multiplayer trophies with the one that was worrying me the most, the And They'll Tell Two Friends trophy, where I need to play a co-op game with someone who already has this trophy. The second controller trick that I've been utilizing for all of the other multiplayer trophies can't help me get this, but luckily I have one friend who I know who has this trophy. All I had to do was go over to his apartment with a second copy of the game, dust off his PS3, and do some console updates, and baby, we got a multiplayer sesh going. This earned me an They'll Tell Two Friends trophy for joining a co-op game with someone who has this trophy. Thanks, Jake. Now all multiplayer trophies for Borderlands are completed, which is a huge weight off my shoulders, and at least I know the only thing that can hold me back now is my own lack of determination. Now time to finish my first playthrough of the game, and my next stop is collecting the final piece of the vault key by killing Baron Flint over in the Salt Flats. I dispose of Baron Flint's massive, totally natty bodyguards Hans and Franz, then follow up the Baron with a double tap of love to earn the wanted Flint trophy. Quickly after getting the last piece of the vault key, I find out Tanis has betrayed the Vault Hunter and sided with the Crimson Lance and their leader Commandant Steele, who wants to take the vault and its treasures for themselves. On my way through the Crimson Lance's territory, I repaired the 10th and final Claptrap of the playthrough. I used the final backpack storage deck update, bringing my total inventory slots up to 42 and earning me the fully loaded trophy. Shortly after the Claptrap, I find Tanis in a cage, and when I turn in that mission I also pop the Made in New Haven trophy for completing all 44 missions in Rust Commons. Even though Tanis betrayed us, she says we need to get the ecosystem back online in order to catch up with Commandant Steele, who was already on her way to open the vault. I earned the discovered Crimson Lance Enclave trophy for entering that area in search of 3 transmitter consoles. With all 3 transmitters activated, I am on my way to confront Steele, open the vault, and discover the last area of the game where I earned the discovered Iridian Promontory trophy. The Iridian Promontory is covered in Guardian enemies who will come in handy later when I am trying to reach level 61 for one of the last DLC trophies. But for now I travel through the area murdering Guardian and Crimson Lance alike until I reach the vault. I'm a little too late and Commandant Steele uses the key to open the vault and... Ouch. I mean, I guess I'm glad she opened the vault door and not me. I quickly defeat possibly the easiest boss of the entire game, the vault boss, and earn my final story-related trophy, Destroy the Destroyer. The only thing left for me to do in this playthrough is loot the vault and turn in the now useless vault key to Tanis for some cash. After my first playthrough, my character is at level 36 and I have 5 trophies left for the Platinum. 2 are related to my character's level and 3 for getting kills with the other 3 playable characters' action skills. Before I jump into the first DLC, I just went ahead and earned those 3 character-specific trophies. I need to get to level 5 to be able to use a character's action skill, and each one of those trophies took me around 30 to 40 minutes apiece. I used the Siren to phase walk through Skag Pup for the truly outrageous trophy. Killed 15 more Skag Pups with Bloodwing, the Hunter's action skill. And finally punched 15 Skags and a couple bandits in the face, killing them mercilessly using the Berserker's action skill for the Reckless Abandon trophy. With that, I only have to reach level 40 and level 50 to earn 2 more trophies for the Borderlands Platinum, but I also have 4 DLCs with 30 more trophies before I can call it quits, because I love to torture myself. I'm going to start with the Zombie Island of Dr Ned DLC, as it was the first to get released in November 2009. And it should be the easiest DLC to complete, with only 5 trophies, 4 related to story missions and the 5th for collecting a bunch of brains for our now zombified friend from Firestone, TK Baha. To access the DLC, I fast traveled to Jacob's Cove and I quickly discovered that the place is infested by zombies. I help get the town's gun turrets back online to bring some semblance of safety, and I need to go find Dr. Ned, who is totally not Dr. Zed from Firestone, in hopes that he can help me with a cure to the zombie problem. After making my way over to Ned's, I got my first trophy of the DLC, House of Ned, by completing the mission by the same name.
An old man who created an end-of-the-world epidemic, you'll have to head to the old hospital, past the graveyard near Jacob's Cove.
Ned then tasks me to head over to the hospital to try and scrounge up the antidote he was working on before he abandoned it and went home. Now at this point I've already killed a lot of zombies and collected a bunch of their zombie brains, but it's all just a waste, as I need to travel over to old zombie TK Baha's house and start his series of missions that we need to complete for the Brains trophy. There are 6 side missions I need to complete. The first is just finding TK's leg, which just leads us to TK himself and the start of the brain collecting. After that, there are 5 missions where TK asks you to collect an increasing number of zombie brains. The first one being 10 brains, 25 for the second, then 50, 100, and finally 250 brains, totaling 435 zombie brains in all. I didn't get any credit for any of the brains I collected before starting these missions, and I won't get any credit for any brains over the amount needed for the current mission. So, to make this less of a grind for myself, I started these missions early in the DLC, and immediately turned in each mission as I met the brain quota. I knocked out the first 3 brain missions for collecting 10, 25, and 50 undead thinkers before leaving the area, and then continued on with the DLC story. Eventually I meet up with a hacked Claptrap that had a secret message which spills the beans that Dr. Ned can't be trusted, and he is the one behind the zombie apocalypse. I find Dr. Ned's secret laboratory, and while in the process of uncovering Dr. Ned's secrets, I reached level 40 for the Ding Sleepless trophy, leaving me only 10 levels and 1 more trophy for the Platinum. After confirming my Ned is evil suspicions, I send word to the Jacobs Corporation in hopes they send some help to take down the Doctor and his zombie horde. This completes the Jacobs Fodder story mission and also awarded me the Jacobs Fodder trophy. Instead of sending reinforcements, the Jacobs Corporation just hires the Vault Hunter to take care of Ned for them, so that is exactly what I do. Fighting my way through zombies, werewolves, and other abominations, we catch up to the good doctor in the lumberyard and kill him, earning us the Night of the Living Ned trophy. But of course, things can never be that easy, and Ned comes back to life, but this time as a cel-shaded Resident Evil boss.
It's not over yet.
I bravely chase undead Ned down a gooey red hole of doom and kill him again, earning me the Ned's Undead Baby Ned's Undead trophy. I collected my 250th zombie brain for TK Baja while I was out killing Ned, so I made the run back to his humble abode and turned in the last mission to help him and earned myself the Brains trophy, and completed the first Borderlands DLC. I decided to play through the Secret Armory of General Knox DLC next. I won't be able to get all of the 10 trophies for this DLC right away, but I can knock off the story trophies and a few of the other miscellaneous ones during my initial playthrough. After the events of the main game, the Crimson Lance, who were once led by Commandant Steele, are now led by General Knox, who has amassed a large force stationed over near T-Bone Junction, and for whatever reason the Vault Hunters have arrived to meddle in the plans of the General. The map in Secret Armory is made up with long stretches of road with large open sections at both ends, with the hub town T-Bone Junction sitting in the middle. To get around a little easier, we help Scooter collect some car parts and build one of the 3 new drivable vehicles, the Monster, and with that we earn our first trophy of this DLC, making a monster. This is also the first of the 42 missions I will need to complete in this DLC. 14 more story missions and 27 side missions to earn the trophy completionist, which will actually end up being the very last trophy of this game I earn, but more to come on that later. I drive over to Moxxi's place of business and she points me in the direction of Lockdown Prison, where the Crimson Lance defector Athena is being held by her ex-husband, a lovely man named Shank. Inside of the prison, I find the first of the 5 loot midgets I need to find and kill for a trophy. And when these little guys leap out of whatever container they've stuffed their tiny little bodies into, it's worse than any jump scare in any 80s slasher movie you can think of. That is the stuff of nightmares.
It's dead.
That's not even getting a coach ticket on the spooky train. I earn the trophy Athena out for rescuing her from Lockdown Prison, and I agree to meet her back in T-Bone Junction in a little bit. Before that, I head over to the world's largest bullet and pay $8 million for the trophy Sucker Born Every Minute. This is earned by paying for a worthless tour of the world's largest bullet. Nothing happens. You just lose millions of dollars and a trophy pops. On my way back to T-Bone Junction, I also managed to destroy a Lancer with the fast but weak racer vehicle for the Speed Kills trophy. I do a handful more side missions before meeting up with Athena, since there is no fast travel within any of the Borderlands DLCs, so when I traveled to one end of this very long map in Secret Armory, I tried my best to do as much as I could before heading back, since this trip takes a couple minutes each time. I also went back to Lockdown Palace and found 2 more loot midgets, Meat Popsicle and Mini Steve, who I didn't find during my first visit. Don't worry, there's only 2 more left to find. I jumped every time I went through my footage when one of these little fuckers screamed. I found some secret desert stashes, fixed some pumps, killed Motorhead, the loot midget Dumpster Diver hiding in his garage, and went on a gondola ride, then headed back to chat with Athena. She wants to blow up the Crimson Lance Armory, and I am more than willing to help. Right before I reached the Secret Armory of General Knox, I took out the last of the loot midget's Crimson Shorty, and earned the Sneaky Little Buggers trophy. It should honestly be called the Terrifying Little Buggers trophy, but I guess the people working at Gearbox in 2009 were made of stronger stuff than I. Once in the armory, I take down the general and complete the story. Blowing up the building and properly looting it earns me the Depot Demolition trophy. After the story, I do some more side missions cleanup by completing some quests for Marcus, which let me revisit and reloot the armory, as well as 5 annoying rounds spent killing Crimson Lance enemies in the Circle of Death arena. This sadly will not be the worst enemy arena I will be in, but I'm saving that pain for later. With 6 out of 10 trophies for the Secret Armory DLC completed, I've hit a wall. 2 remaining trophies are related to my character's level, so I will continue to work on those as I complete the other DLCs and my eventual second playthrough of the main game. 1 is for completing all missions in the Knox DLC, but I can't complete all missions until I'm over level 60 because the only mission I have left is for killing Cromerex the Invincible and I don't stand a chance as I'm currently at level 50, and this mega boss starts at level 61 and is always 3 levels higher than your character, so this will have to wait for later as well. It's time to move on to Claptrap's New Robot Revolution DLC, which is the last one that came out for Borderlands in September of 2010. Claptrap's New Robot Revolution has 10 trophies that I'll be acquiring. 4 are for beating the story bosses, which are Claptrapified versions of the previous villains from the main game and the DLCs I've played thus far. Essentially, Claptraps have begun to take over Pandora, and of course it's up to our friendly neighborhood Vault Hunter to squash their fight for planetary control. I made my way across 7 story missions, slowly whittling down Claptrap's defenses until the final assault, where I dismantled General Knox Trap for the Knox Trap trophy, turned Dr. Ned Traps' corpse to goo for the Ned Trap trophy,
A slightly larger setback. Still, you must be hurting by now. Tell you what, surrender and we'll only publicly torture you a little.
filled Commandant Steel Trap's hole with lead for the Steel Trap trophy, and finally put an end to our once lovable comic relief for the Muerte la Revolucion trophy.
No. You'll never take me alive.
There is one trophy for finding all 6 of the Claptrap statues in the DLC. These are usually placed near the beginning of each area and are pretty hard to miss, so obtaining the tourist trophy came naturally during my playthrough. I found the last statue as I was making my way through the boss gauntlet in the final area of the DLC. Tanis also makes an appearance and wants the Vault Hunter to collect 367 Claptrap parts over the course of 4 side missions. This works exactly like the Brains trophy given out by TK Baja in the Zombie Island DLC. After I had completed the DLC story, I was still short about 50 parts and headed over to the dump to collect the rest. Turning in the last 150 parts to Tanis earned me the Collector trophy. Claptraps also have a slim chance of dropping other items besides the motherboards and wires Tanis asks for. They can also drop oil cans, bobbleheads, 3D glasses, pink panties, fish in bags, and pizza slices, and all of these items are needed for the 4 remaining trophies. The game does not keep track of how many of what items you've picked up, and the drop rate on these is maddeningly low at best. If you get extremely lucky, you may pick up enough during your playthrough of the DLC to pop 1 or 2 of these collection trophies, but I had no such luck. I ended up farming the first phase of the last boss for over an hour and finally popped the It's So Realistic trophy for collecting 5 3D glasses. At this point my character was at level 46 and all I needed to do was get to level 50 and the Platinum trophy would be mine. I decided to switch back to the main game and start playthrough 2 so I can start gaining some good experience and earn myself a win and a break from farming Claptraps for pizza slices. I guess even Crazy Earl could feel my pain since I reached level 50 when handing him 24 bottles of booze for the Hair of the Dog mission. Borderlands hasn't driven me to drink yet, but if Earl was offering I wouldn't have turned him down. If you're getting to level 50, I earned the Ding Champion trophy, and with that, the Platinum trophy, Borderland Defender.
Crazy Earl has more jobs he'd like that chump Vault Hunter to do.
With all base game and Zombie Island of Dr. Ned trophies collected, I still had only 69 out of the 81 trophies, and I was not stopping until Borderlands on PS3 was 100%, but these last 12 trophies were by far the worst of the bunch. With 3 trophies left in the Claptrap DLC and my determination meter filled up a little higher from the ding of the Platinum trophy, I started Claptrap playthrough 2 in hopes to also gain some more levels as I still needed to make it to level 61 before all of this can be over. I did manage to accumulate 25 oil cans at some point off camera, which greased my cold, sad heart with the Lubricator trophy, as well as making it to level 51 during this playthrough for the Ding Overleveled trophy. After I finished playthrough 2 of Claptrap's Robo Revolution, I was still in need of 2 collection trophies, so I proceeded to farm the final boss once again, but this time I was going to work smarter, not harder. With the drop rates of the special items from the Claptraps being pitifully low, I decided to AFK farm for the remaining trophies. I got to the last boss and hid behind the bus in his arena for hours as real life me went and touched some grass. Upon my return, I killed the boss and collected the final Claptrap bottlehead, 15 in all, needed for the Bubble Trap trophy. And even with about 3 hours of AFK farming, I was still missing something. One more AFK session, some more grass touching, and what I think was the 5th time killing Minak, I finally collected 3 pink panties, 5 fish in a bag, and 15 slices for the What a Party trophy. Now it's time for Mad Moxxi's Underdome DLC, and I'm not excited about this one for multiple reasons. First being that you gain no experience for killing enemies in this DLC, and secondly because this took hours to complete and I did it admittedly the cheapest way possible. But I don't care, this game is 14 years old and I'm not going to find a friend who wants to fight waves upon waves of enemies for hours on a PS3 game with me so that I can get 5 DLC trophies. There are trophies for completing small and large challenges in the DLC's 3 arenas. I did this by breaking out the second controller one last time. The enemies' levels will scale with the host of the co-op session, so I had my phantom friend create a co-op game with a level 5 character, and then I joined with my level 51 Roland as player 2. This brought all of the enemies down to around level 12. This is now a battle of attrition, because even though it is comically easy for my character to kill any enemy within the arena, completing these still took a very long time. Each one of the smaller arenas took about 40 to 50 minutes each, with 5 waves consisting of 5 rounds for a total of 20 enemy waves. Completing all 3 of the lesser challenges in each arena got me the small tournament trophy. It was now time to complete the larger challenges in each Coliseum. Each one of the larger challenges consisted of 20 waves with 5 rounds each for a total of 100 enemy waves per arena. These took me about 2.5 hours each. I can honestly say unless someone you care about is taken while Liam Neeson is too busy to help, and the only way to win back their freedom is by spending over 8 hours doing arena challenges, then I'd just stay clear of this DLC.
If you're looking for ransom, I can tell you I don't have money, but what I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
After about 2.5 hours, I completed my first arena for the Gully Trophy. I mustered up enough patience to complete the next large challenge later that night and earned the Helburbia Trophy. I came back the next night and completed the final large Coliseum challenge and earned the 2 final trophies from this DLC, the Angelic Ruins for completing the arena, and Big Tournament for completing all 3 large challenges. 3 trophies left, and honestly after the Mad Moxxi DLC, these will be a treat. I am only at level 51, and so off camera I finished off my second playthrough of the main game, which brought me to just under level 60. After beating the second playthrough, all enemies now scale to the player's level, so I headed over to the Iridian Promontory and fought the Guardians there who give out ridiculous amounts of experience, and quickly reached level 61 for the ding over-leveled to 11 trophy, and now only 1 super boss blocks my path for 100%. My plan is to solo the boss by exploiting the Cromarax glitch, where I can run to this little ledge area on the west side of the boss arena. If done correctly, Cromarax gets stuck doing the wave over and over again, while his minions also ignore the Vault Hunter, which will allow me to pump his glowy purple bits full of bullets. My first attempt went well. I successfully did the glitch, but Cromarax has 1 purple hitbox that is on his back, which is hard to hit. I used the Leviathan rocket launcher to arc over him and hit it, but my aim was not true enough, and I ran out of launcher ammo before I could fell the beast. Trying to run out of my safety hole and get behind the boss, I was quickly killed by Cromarax's minions. Multiple attempts later, and I either ran out of launcher ammunition trying to hit the last weak spot, or I failed to make the glitch work and I was killed quickly. I then had an idea. I respec'd my character and added 5 points into the stockpile ability, which makes my turret regenerate ammo for the weapon my character is currently holding. This way, I essentially had unlimited launcher ammo, and that turned out to be the key to winning. Nestling back into my safety nook, I whittled Cromarax down to only the last weak spot on his back. When I ran out of rockets, I deployed my turret and regenerated my ammo and continued the missile barrage. I'll admit my aim wasn't the greatest, but now it was only a matter of time, and eventually I managed to take down Cromarax the Invincible, earning me the Vincible trophy. All that was left was to head back to T-Bone Junction and turn in the mission for the Completionist trophy for completing all missions in the Secret Armory DLC, and I have now earned every single trophy for Borderlands on PS3. Thank you for watching this very long video on a 14-year-old game on a 17-year-old console. It is much appreciated. Borderlands is a great game, and while I don't suggest playing it on a PS3 in 2024, it did get released on the PS4 back in 2019, and all the awful Mad Moxxi DLC trophies still exist, so if you're interested in some self-torture, they are available pretty easily on modern consoles. Or you could just steer clear of those and play the main game and some of the other DLCs, which are very enjoyable. I do have some more of my friends' games on deck that I'm working on getting the Platinums for, and I also make videos on RPGs if that interests you at all. It takes me forever to make videos, but if for some reason you are interested, I do have a Patreon with some fun little benefits, and I'd love to take game suggestions from you as well. Once again, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.